Hello viewers from wherever you're watching us from. You're watching QTV, the Gambia's first private TV station, and we are broadcasting live from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. My name is Aliu Sise, and it's now time for your weekly State of Affairs program. Well, this week on the program, we are joined by the Gambia's Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, Honorable Rohijon Manjang. Honorable, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you, Ali, for having me, and thank you for the invitation.
Pleasure having you. I mean, to begin with, I mean, could you just share with us, I mean, your own assessment of our current environment and climate status? In simple terms, I mean, what is the biggest threat to our country as we speak?
Thank you, Ali, and thank you for starting with the challenges. Yeah. It's always good to settle down with the success stories. Yeah. I think for the environment, the challenges are numerous, and it's not only limited to the Gambia. But allow me to also first at least extend cheers to my viewers out there, and to also thank the entire cabinet on the leadership of His Excellency for the support. It's a teamwork. It's not only by one person. We have to work together to achieve our collective goals. And also my immediate team, that's the Minister of Environment staff, headed by the Permanent Secretary. I think I'm lucky to have a very solid and ready to work team. On the challenges, the Gambia, as I said, is not limited, it's not isolated. So for the environment and specific to the climate impacts, is the heat waves and erratic rainfalls that affects not only us as a ministry, but generally our farmers. And the Gambia is more of a farming community. So when our season is being affected due to the change in climate, I think we will feel it. And recently we've started seeing rainfalls that are not being easily predicted, and that affects the way we also farm, and then even our the outcome of the rainy season, but more so also even our infrastructure. That's why as a country and as a ministry, when it comes to the environment, we don't only implement our targets. It's a chain work. The entire government machinery is responsible for making sure that at least we're able to build our resilience and also mitigate and enhance our adaptability when it comes to climate impacts. But the environment, again, is a collective responsibility, and the challenges touches all together, including even the media sector. So for the challenges specific to the Gambia is the rainfalls. We keep seeing the change that are unprecedented. Yeah. Sometimes a high amount in the rainfall, sometimes low, sometimes even erratic in terms of the days that they come. We have been seeing, usually May, April, we see people clearing their land, their farm. Easily predicted that by end of April coming to May, we see rains coming. And we can see in August, all of us can easily say that August are the high season for the rainwater to come. But then this time around, it is failing us. We're seeing sometimes rain will be very heavy in October, sometimes in September. So it is unpredictable. And that is what is also hampering us, meaning we have to adjust with respect to forecasting, the technology. We have to make sure that at least we are close to accuracy to guide our farmers and also the entire populate.
So in terms of, I mean, the climate justice funding, I mean, which is actually falling short as we speak, as the minister responsible for this particular sector, I mean, how is a country working to ensure that, you know, we are able to protect ourselves?
This is a very detailed topic. The climate justice is not only about getting support or finance, it's making sure that all of us are responsive to climate, to the climate change. But here what we are saying is those that have been historic polluters, so take the lead in making sure that at least they foot up the bills, and which has been a challenge. The good thing is, so far so good, we're able to register critical milestone with respect to the loss and damage fund. Last year, agreement has been reached, emanated from COP29, where we agreed that now the loss and damage fund is standing. but empty. It was empty at the time. But now, at least by last year, we agreed that something should be put there. And close to 200 million has been agreed. But these are just pledges. Yeah. For the money to actually come is another thing. Yeah. We've seen instances in Glasgow where the 100 million was agreed, but well, some speculated that it was met and it was reached some time back, but in reality, we can say it was never met. So these are the challenges that we have. We make pledges, but being truthful to those pledges are also our challenge. So
what do you point to know that, okay, the pledges weren't met? What do you look at and said the pledges weren't met?
The finance is not on the table.
Oh, okay.
The basket has not been committed to. So that's the challenge, especially for the least developed countries who have been the most affected and the least contributor to the climate crisis. We're not getting the right financiers on our way. A report some time back indicated that most of the climate support that are coming to least developed countries are in the form of loans, okay, which is not fair. And then now we come to the climate justice. How can you allow us to foot the bill for mitigating climate actions when we are not the polluters, we are not the main cause? We are the least emitters and the least contributors. So if you're talking about justice and then fairness, we expect those that polluted the environment and those that are responsible for the crisis should be ready and willing to support adaptation actions and also mitigations.
And it's good you talk about the issue of, most of this funding coming in through loans for the least developed countries, including our own. But what are some of the specific financing gaps that actually exist, or does the Gambia currently face? And as a ministry or as a government, what exactly are you doing to ensure, you are able to fill this gap without, like you put it, incurring heavy debt?
It's to be innovative, but again, to also be aggressive and being able to put up bankable project proposals is one thing. There is one thing to say there is no funding, there's also another thing for one to be aggressive. And that requires technical capacity, and I want to say my team has been very aggressive recently. I have a support led by the Permanent Secretary and the Director of Climate Change Secretariat, and also the CPCU, which are the projects, the one managing the projects. What is important is the mechanisms to access this. Okay. One thing, to request for the fund, to be able to at least put up a bankable project proposal, but the mechanisms are also not very user-friendly to the least developed countries. You have to climb a lot of mountains to get to the final destination. And also the requisite to access this fund are not also very friendly to us, the developing countries. That's why in the past 2 COPs, what we are advocating is to give us at least our own basket, our own at least committed finance, whereby we will only compete among the least developed countries who have the same muscles and the same technical capacity, the same strength to compete among themselves. But if you want all of us to compete to access the same fundings, of course, some people will be able to access it quicker because of their technical capacity and also because of their experience, exposures. We have differences in that. But again, what is important is the fund itself sufficient for all of us to compete towards it.
How do we deal with this in the absence of big countries like the United States when it comes to climate change?
Come again?
How do we deal with this thing in the absence of big countries like the United States?
For the United States, I know they have been the heavyweight financiers. So their exit in the whole play create a very big vacuums, but notwithstanding, there are also big countries, if they are ready and then the solidarity spirit is high, we should be able to make sure that those vacuums has been filled. But that's the challenge here. That's why for the past 2 years, there has been resistance in committing more funds towards climate actions, because fully knowing that the big funders are not have stepped out. So what would happen if commitment is made? The likes like Canada, Germany would have to foot the bill. But again, that's not even the case. I am saying if the ones that are on with us and they are ready and committed, they should be able to. It's not much. We are not asking more than what we can afford as a global world.
So isn't this leaving the COP, for example, to become just a mere talk shop where people just fly, collect per diems, and just meet, talk, disperse, and nothing comes afterwards?
I do not agree to that.
Okay.
I keep saying that, as we say in our local languages, waxtaan moo is a jubo.
Yeah.
So when we continue negotiating, we continue discussing, and scientists are there to back our evidence, we'll be able to make case. But if we are not talking, when are we going to agree? We must continue talking. And that's the essence of having COP after COP. And yes, it will be not meaningful enough to our target, but at least progress are usually made COP after COP. There is always at least a milestone achieved. So that is the essence. We cannot just keep at our own small corners and think that we are going to get headway. What is important is to make sure that at least the dialogue continues.
So, I mean, talking about the issue of finance still, I mean, how much of a climate finance has the Gambia been able to access under your leadership?
That's a very critical question. I was not ready for that, but I know this was asked some time back.
Estimate?
Estimate, I cannot for now, because we have a climate change directorate. Because it's not only the Ministry of Environment that is implementing climate change projects. We have almost everyone, the private sector, the NGOs, the business, the non-governmental organizations are all implementing this, and government as a whole. What we now want is to make sure at least this thing is being coordinated, and then we'll be able to account for the actual climate funding. And it's not only about funds. Some of them don't only come in terms of monetary terms. This can come in kind, this can come even by actions. For example, now, when we put up a solar, we have to quantify that in financial terms, because it's still finance towards climate mitigation or climate adaptation. So we need to be able to account for this. That's why we are having our inventory, which is going to be backed by the manual updated report, which we are working on. And last year we submitted also the manual transparency report. All these things are geared towards accounting for how much have we spent, but also how much in figurative terms, how much have Gambia been able to access. But the climate finance is responsible for coordinating and accounting for the actual finance, but working also with our climate change secretariat.
So how much of this reach communities directly?
Again, you're asking about figures.
Yeah.
I'm very careful with figures, because we are not the only one implementing climate action, so therefore it's very difficult to say this much is what has reached the communities. But what we know, in general terms, that's why we have the Life AR, which is backed by the least developed countries. Usually it's about, when it's come to the entire climate finance, only about 30 below reaches the actual beneficiaries. So now that is why we're having the Life AR. So meaning that if you're asking me how much have reached the actual beneficiaries, before, what research has shown is that less than 30% goes to the actual beneficiaries. So in this case, the Gambia, we can say less than 30% reaches our actual beneficiaries. But now the scenario is changing with the intervention of the Life AR, talking about resilience, and the resilience would reach to the actual targets. So now it's going to be 70-30. That's the actual, that is what the Life AR is doing under the least developed country initiatives.
So as we speak, Parliament is considering, I mean, a new national environmental, management bill, which you tabled before Parliament to repeal the 1997 Act. I mean, how will this new law, if enacted, will help in at least, ensuring that enforcement and accountability?
The National Environment Management Act, 1994, is almost out of date. So from 1994 to date, a lot of things has happened. So many changes have been made in the climate arena. So it's important that we are up to speed and make sure that at least we adjust our policies, our laws, to make sure that at least it aligns with the international text. So that is what the new NEMA is doing. It's not going to change everything from 0 to 100, no. We have something. So that something needs to be refined, needs to be upgraded to meet the real demand and the actualities of our generation now. That's what the law is doing. But again, we understand that climate change has been very much advanced when it's come to even what we want as a country. For example, the fines. We find it very difficult to enforce fines because we don't have on-the-spot fines in the 1994 bill, Act. So therefore, it's important that we enhance our laws to be able to do that, because our legal system has been inundated with, imagine when you want to find everyone that is littering on the way, how many people are you going to find one day? All of them has to line up to wait for the court, for the legal system to reach them. And that takes us very slow, and also discourages the enforcement process, and also even put it more stress on our enforcement outcomes. So what we want to achieve in the new NEMA is to also get on-the-spot fines, and that is going to help us find people immediately. You commit the crime, we are able to confirm that, and I said that you have committed the fine, and you will be fined. Okay. So that is what, and also to empower the National Environment Management Agency to be able to enhance some of their laws that are not up to speed.
I mean, you announced, I mean, tough, I mean, sand mining rules. One will say, yet, I mean, erosion and illegal mining continue. Has this enforcement really failed?
Just to reflect on this, I keep saying, because of the Minister of Environment, people think that whatever affects the environment is under our purview. That's not the case. Sand mining per se is not under my ministry. Okay. It's under the Ministry of Geology. Okay. Geology is the one that's petroleum that manages that portfolio. What we do is regulations under the environment. The NEA, we regulate the processes, meaning that we have to make sure that where you are mining is environmentally acceptable. The process that you're doing is also environmentally intact. So those are the things that we do as a regulator. But when it's come to the license and things like that, it's under the Ministry of Energy.
So with all these things we are doing around the environment and climate change, I mean, how do you engage the civil society in this whole work?
The civil society are part of everything that we do. Everything that we do. It depends how we call engagement. Okay. But the laws are very clear. And even for this government, we are one of the most transparent government. So there is no locked door policy here. We are very transparent and we are very open. So
when last did you had that face-to-face dialogue with the civil society?
Not long ago. In all my meetings, in all our validation, we have the civil society. In all our engagements, that is national, that is of national concern, the civil society are key. They're invited. In all.
The other thing is about the issue of the issue of illegal logging, which continue to persist, I mean, nationwide. Is your ministry in any way preventing damage, or you just react after the forests have been destroyed?
I think we are doing both, because you have to make sure that at least you are on the watch. But those that escape you also have to chase them. That is what we are doing. I'm happy to say that we have we've successfully been able to put in a quasi-military system within the forestry department, and it's working positively well. We have seen that enforcement has been enhanced, and we have seen that deterrence is paying dividend. Because of just 2025, we are able to at least intercept about 30 trucks that are carrying illegal timber produce, and then they have been taken to court. Some, their vehicles have been confiscated. That's telling you that we have gone that far to make sure that at least people are on the watch, and then they mind their footsteps with respect to the illegalities that happens between the forest boundaries. And I think that's the only language most people understand. Yes, we're also doing advocacy. We are talking to them. We're meeting with the alcalos. We are also supporting them. Recently, about 60 communities have been supported with firefighting equipment through the root projects. All these things are to enhance. And we also have engagements with alcalos, with community leaders, but also making sure that we also plant trees. It's not only one thing, but we also have to make sure that at least we rebuild our forests, the broken forests, and that also we are doing. Last rainy season, the director and the team were all out to plant trees in the forests, community forests, and also with even our own traditional forests that we are here since colonial time. So a lot has been done, or a lot is ongoing and will continue to be implemented. But what is important is to make sure that at least we are able to be visible and we are able to stand firm to enforce the law. that has been lacking for some time.
So what is the current status of the Kiang Kayaf, timber case?
The Kiang Kayaf timber case, I think it has been concluded, except the court case that is between me and
Alkamba Times.
Not Alkamba Times, is the writer.
Yeah, but he works for Alkamba Times.
Yes, but he is the writer, so he is the one that we're dealing with. Except for that, but what happened is that the main issue was a connival was a fight. As we said, if you fight corruption, corruption fights you back. So that was the main drama behind everything. So I don't want to dwell in detail, hence the case is at court, it is in the courts. But on the summary, the officer concerned was dismissed. The public service had to go through the case, review it thoroughly, and then they found out that the case was dismissible, and the officer concerned was dismissed for allowing government to lose that much, because the timber we were meant to understand that was stolen by some other people because of negligence of our officers.
So, was the timber re-export trade deal, in your own opinion, actually, legal? And if so, which country was actually importing from the Gambia?
That's not my time.
Okay.
I know when I came into office, this was banned immediately, shortly when I entered office, around June. So I was minister in May, so June, July, if my memory serves me well, the ban was enforced strictly and until now. So I wouldn't be able to say who were the ones or the countries, because I have no much knowledge about that. All I know that it was most of these were illegal. So that's why we were able to enforce the ban and make sure that at least we put our foot down with the support of His Excellency the President. And then today we are, as far as I'm concerned, whatever happens is behind the scenes.
So who actually authorized the sale of that mahogany tree in Kiang Kayaf?
Who authorized the sale?
Yeah.
If you said who authorized the sale, the authority, the authorizing the sale or guiding the sale is different.
Okay.
No one authorized the sale. There's a process that guides the sale. Okay. What I did as a minister is to make sure to guide the process. And this emanated from an incident that I just got when I went on tour. There was a report that came from the people of Sabah Sanjal, one of the villages that the VDC complained, or their village development committee complained that they are not happy about an illegal fell of trees that has been tradition in their community. About 5 of the trees have been fallen without due process followed. So we advanced an inquiry through the director, but the results were not very fruitful. So I decided to pay a visit myself and then with my PS during our nationwide tour. So what happened is that there was a claim that the forest officer took money from one of the timber dealers by the community. So and then they shared the WhatsApp, the wave number. So this is a very serious accusation, and which there was refusal on the claim initially. So when we went on the ground, the Alcalo was there, I think the chief was there, myself and my permanent secretary and some of the senior officers and the deputy director of forestry at the time, still. So when we made our question and answers with the officer concerned, we found out that it was the case, the allegation was somehow true. So we decided that has sent a very bad signal if our officers are conniving with timber traders to the extent of having some physical clash in between them. It's not a good information. So with that information fresh in me, I asked the officer to make sure that identified a buyer who will pay to the accounts of government. And this process was documented. There was not to say do this or don't do it. It was documented in an email. And the PS was assigned to give the instruction and also to send one letter for defiance. So all these things, the due process was followed according to the limits of the law. So what happened is that I, as a minister, am not involved. I just give guidance to avoid finding ourselves into the scenario that just happened.
So was the money audited?
It was never even sold because the officer refused to. It was never sold. That's when we lost the timber. They said this timber was stolen by someone, I don't know, when from the inquiry that was conducted by the by PMO.
How do you respond to allegations that you were personally involved in the sale?
That's what I said. I don't want to go deep into this because it's already in the courts. But all I know is that ask the individual whether they have any evidence. My assertion or my position was that before you publish, hence you said money has been deposited into my account. We all know money deposited in an account, there must be evidence. Banks don't work like the banana shop, where you go and trade among yourself without any evidence. Banks don't operate like that. So my position is that before you publish, hence you have now gotten claim that they've paid money in my account, get the facts right.
Do you accept that this looks like more like intimidation?
What was
against
it?
the journalists?
What looks like intimidation?
The legal action that you have taken.
It's my right. What you did is you are tarnishing my image. An image that I fought for since when I was young up to today. You just tarnishing based on no reason. You should be responsive. As journalists, you should be responsive. In as much as you have the right to publish, but publish the facts. Bank's details are easy to get. If the source is able to tell you that this has been paid to minister's account, let the source be willing and ready to provide you the facts. This is simple mathematics.
Will you drop the charges in the interest of public trust?
If the person is also willing and honest to himself to say that he has no evidence. That's the simple. That's very simple.
Away from that, Honorable, I mean, we are bringing some of these issues because, it's been reported and you are here and, you are a perfect individual to respond to some of these issues. That's why I'm bringing up some of all these issues, I mean, for you to clarify some of these things. There was a media report that, I mean, the director of, Parks and Wildlife at the time, Mamadou Gassama, was actually arrested on a Friday, detained all weekend and released without charges. Why?
You're talking about criminal issues, which I don't have the mandate to say. He was detained by the police and released by the police.
Did you give the orders for his arrest?
I don't have the mandate to give the order for an officer to be arrested.
But do you think it was lawful?
The police can answer that because it's a legal matter. I'm not acquainted with legal issues.
Wasn't this an abuse of power?
Of whose power?
Your name came up as the minister.
How did my name came up? Because I don't know how my name was put in this.
So was there any crime in the first place? If not, why the detention in the first place?
That's what I'm saying. The detention, I will not be able to say why the detention. The police can guide on as to why the detention, because they have the legal space to know whether somebody should be detained or not to be detained, and when to release the person. Even if the minister instructs, for example, which you're claiming, mm-hmm. The police has the right to guide because they are the ones executing the law, not the minister.
So how far is the case now?
There is no case. As far as I'm concerned, there is an issue that we suspected. Okay. I do not want to, because these are office issues, even though the public has a right to know, but there was a suspected mismanagement of funds. So we had to launch an audit investigation, which revealed that actually there was a mismanagement of funds, and then currently directive has been given to execute that that audit outcome, and is being executed by the right authorities.
Away from that, Honorable, last year, if I'm right, your ministry signed an MOU with a Ghanaian-based, Just Punk, group, which actually was meant to, address the issue of waste management. But our streets continue to remain dirty. Was that MOU substance or just symbolism?
Yes, you started building your QCell, this building, almost 2 years ago.
Over 2 years now.
Yes, it's still yet to finish.
Yeah.
So things don't happen like that. It's not to sign today, tomorrow you implement. We have to follow the due process, and that's what we are doing.
So has anything been delivered so far under this MOU?
Sure. Today, as I'm telling you, the team is already here. They're now discussing with the competent authority, looking at the bits and pieces of the agreement and see that at least it has been robustly reviewed and balanced in interest. That's what the team is already here.
So has government made any payment?
Nothing has been. We have not even signed yet. We have not even signed any agreement yet. We're still on the negotiation and reviewing document. We have not signed anything with them, apart from the MOU that opened doors for our engagement.
And let's still talk about the issue of the environment, which you are very passionate about. When you talk about the issue of plastic pollution, could you share with us how many companies have been sanctioned so far regarding the issue of plastic pollution in this country? I know it's banned.
Yes, I do not have the record how many companies have been sanctioned in numbers, But I know that we have advanced when it's come to plastic ban. The main challenge is to have it globally.
Okay.
But for Gambia, I think we have done quite a lot. Enforcement, again, is our challenge. As I said, when you enforce or somebody is found wanting, we have to make sure that at least they are arraigned before the laws as quickly as possible. But because of the inundated, now that this democratic space, every case is going to the law, is going to the courts. The courts has been inundated. So if you want to add all that we are able to confiscate, all those that have the crime committers under this law or the ban, the courts have been inundated. We have quite a number of pending cases there. So what is important now is to advance the NAMA so that we'll be able to manage our own fines at our own level with the support of the judiciary. But again, we have just last year, government through cabinet have approved the National Action Plan to End Plastic Pollution. It's a 10-year plan that should run through to 2033. And that plan is expected to reduce plastic pollution by 46%, moving from business usual. But what is important is it's a process, and the process is all inclusive. We have to make sure that we start with the single-use plastic, coming all the way to the bottle, or even to our cans, food cans that we eat, that we think they are not environmentally friendly, but it has to take a long process. The implementation plan is costly, and we have to also get finance to support the plan. But what is important, we have already, the plan has been approved by cabinet, and then now we have to implement it.
And when we talk about the issue of, deforestation, land degradation in the country, the issue of forest comes to mind. Salaji Sokuta Forest, Honorable Minister, what happened? Why did you decide to give away that forest?
What happened? Nothing happened.
No, something happened.
Nothing happened.
In fact, there was even a protest against giving away that forest.
I keep saying, and then I think I am happy that we have people who are putting us to check.
Yeah.
And that is what democracy is. We have a leader that is very democratic, and of course we also have to learn from his footsteps and be very willing to accommodate everyone. But I keep saying we have to be mindful that the Gambia contributes only 0.01% to the entire crisis. We need breathing space to develop. Some of these forests were gazetted before independence. And that's the time when the Gambian population was less than 500. I'm telling you, less than 500. So now that population has been multiplied to 5. We're talking about 2.5 million population. And then now we are more aggressive when it's come to our demand to social amenities. You are asking for market, you are asking for hospital, you are asking for roads, you are asking for schools, you are asking. And these we are not going to build on the sky. They will be built on the land that we have. What is important,
but in this case, this
if you
particular
allow me
forest,
to learn, what is important is as government, we have to be innovative. We have to be strategic in the way we plant and then manage our resources. And that is what this government is doing. I will give you a small summary. I will come back to Salaji.
Yeah.
This government, since 2017, has reserved 107.5 hectares of our total forest cover. That is what we have reserved. And all those that have been reserved for the better good and for climate actions. But again, on the other side, we have reserved just under the forestry, not even parks and wildlife, more than 2,300 hectares. Meaning every hectare that we reserved, we have reserved more than 140 in place, in replacement. That is what we have to do as a government. This area is strategic. You need it, and it's the best area that you can have. You can reserve and make sure that at least you replace it. But I keep saying, when government reserved forests, you hear no activists, including even the journalists, to come and say, oh, we are grateful for the government, they are now doing this. But
that's what we expect from a government.
Exactly. But
that's
then
what
again,
we expect from a responsible government.
Of course. But if you also expect that from government, you expect government also to be responsive in the way they plan and strategically implement their assignment.
But for many, Honorable, it's about the purpose for which that area was given.
What was the purpose?
I think for a private investor.
The laws gave us the latitude to do that. We didn't do anything outside the laws. And besides, this is a government forest. It's not community forest. Government forest, government has the right to reserve it. And for any purpose. It's just that, as you said, yes, we have to be responsive.
But are you concerned about the long-term impact of this initiative?
This is what I'm saying.
Because we're talking about sustainable development.
Yes, right. Sustainable development.
But it doesn't have to affect one sector again.
What we gave it out for is for two things, and it's temporal. At the time, we were in the know that Gambia, the way we are developing and the infrastructure is booming, basal is on the high demand, and we will soon fall short if we do not neutralize this with the supply. So that's the time that Gach, who is a citizen of ours, want to go the extra mile to bring in the supply to make sure that at least it balances with demand. That is for you and I. We need this also for our development. So if at the time he needs space temporarily to store this, you want us to give him the hospital?
So why did you think that was a perfect place for him?
That is what our assessment said. Several places were identified. That was not the only place. About 5 places were identified. We set up a team comprising of NEA, National Road Authority, I can't remember, Disaster, Minister of Lands, and I think even NAWEC, because they're also the custodian, because they have their boreholes there, to look into all the strategic areas that were identified. In a nutshell, the report shows that that's the only ideal place. That's what the technical report advanced. That's the only ideal place. So we have to go by the technical report.
So how will you convince perhaps people of Sukuta and Salaj who are watching this program and are passing, oh, Minister, no, I disagree?
Yes, I am not selling out for anyone to agree.
Yeah.
I'm saying between my conviction and that's my conscience. My conscience guides me to do the right thing for the Gambian people, so long as I'm in office. You will not please everyone at the same time. But what is important is be guided by your conscience. We did the right thing, as far as I'm concerned, to the interest of the Gambian people.
Yeah, because the reason why I bring up this question is that if you are, on the other hand, telling people, okay, try to plant more trees, and the other side, people are seeing government giving out forests, isn't that contradictory?
But I already told you, we have not given out forests. And besides, what we gave Gach is only 2.5 hectares. 2.5 hectares out of 230 hectares. Only 2.5 hectares. And the transport union also 2.5 hectares together. But I'm telling you that in total, this government has reserved, I'm not even saying that used, we have reserved 107.5 hectares, the reserved. But we have reserved in place only for the forestry. When it's come to the parks, that one is more than 50,000 hectares that we have reserved under this government. But on the forestry itself, we have reserved more than 2,300 hectares in place. I think it's a wise planning. If, again, I keep saying, I am not celebrating the nature of our forests at the moment. The quality is bad. And I keep saying, as country, and then we know that the population is increasing, and the land size is also reducing because of we having the sea eating from it and the borders also eating from it. So we have to judiciously utilize the mega resource that we have, and this is land. So
what exactly is your ministry doing now to ensure the issue of planting more trees is well understood by people in the provinces? Honorable, when you travel provinces, North Bank region down to Woolly, what you see is quite disturbing.
Sure, I agree. It's quite disturbing. But that's why I keep saying it's a chain walk. We have a minister, we have a forest director, we have forest officers, we have the alcalos, we have the CFOs, we have the journalists, we have the citizens. All of us must join hands together and do the right thing as a nation. The former vice president said it. How can we come to terms a whole truck full with timber, with logs, to walk majestically all the way from Woolley to find itself to the to Banjul, and no one sees it, no one talks about it. It's disheartening and not acceptable. So all of us are key players, including security, who are our central support team, and we expect them to do more. Just not long ago, if the Minister of Works Sport is watching, he sent me a message around this time that he is following a truck, and luckily he was so patient to take the number plate of the truck, and then was able to move along, and then they moved past several checkpoints without being stopped. So he sent the pictures to me, I sent it to the director. Immediately, with his connections, the truck was confiscated. They were able to apprehend the truck driver with the logs.
So, but now with Gambians continue to use charcoal, I mean, for their domestic purpose and all that, what measures do you think your ministry should put in place to ensure, you know, you're able to address this? Is there any alternative?
Yes.
For people to use other things other than charcoal?
There is alternative. There is also mitigation measures that we are also employing. Like we have this company called Del Agua. Okay. They have supplied more than 100,000 stoves to individuals in the communities that are efficient. If you are supposed to use maybe, at least it would reduce your use of firewood around 60% or more. So these are all mitigation measures that we also employ. But again, in the long run, we are working very hard to make sure that not only are we planting more trees, but we have to work on advocacy. People have to understand how to maximize the use of these resources. More than 90% of our households use fuel from resources from the forest to cook. But how many of us are planting trees? Yeah. And people don't understand. It will be better to use the firewood than charcoal. The charcoal, before you process the charcoal, and you're able to get a bag full that will last for 1 week. The same firewood, if you use it, it will last for more than 2 weeks. Not only even are you even affecting the forest, but even your health condition. The process that we take to process this charcoal, it's not healthy for our environment, not for the soil, not even for our individual health. But people think that, man kering la de toge. Yes, you think it's civilized. It's not good for the forest. It's not good for our health in general, and it's not also helping the survival of our ecosystem. So, but what is important is to make sure that we are able to get a sustainable means. Let's pray to Allah, the most merciful and the most powerful, to give us oil. One would say, why is the Minister of Environment asking for oil? Yes, we have to pollute. If we pollute, then we fix the problem, because we need that to be able to, those that are having gas today, they're using gas. And you still believe we have oil? That's why I said we pray. So away from the honorable, I mean, with the rising sea level, I mean, in this country, what exactly is your ministry doing to ensure you are able to protect, I mean? Yes, we have, Cabinet has approved the Integrated Coastal Zone Management Bill, which is at the level of National Assembly. It has been scheduled for committee process on Thursday, this Thursday. Okay. And hopefully, if Cabinet allows, we'll be there to get that process done. So that Coastal Integrated Management Bill is going to enhance actions towards managing our coastal zone, both in terms of mitigation and adaptation. And as I continue saying, the laws are very important, because they guide our policy action, and they also guide implementation processes, and even entice donor application processes. Because if you don't have the legal base, and you want to now
it's difficult to convince donors. Yeah.
It's difficult. So you must have the legal base, and then from there you're able also to get the regulations, the bits and pieces of regulation put together, and then now the enforcement and the implementation becomes a reality and sustainable. That's what we are doing. So in terms of the fish meal factories, Honorable, I mean, do they actually have, functional waste treatment facilities? Yes. The last time we checked, about 2 years ago, because that was when the debate on the fish meal was heated. Yeah. So I checked with my team. As far as we know, there have been regular monitoring to the environment aspects, and they've been meeting it. There are small bits of queries here and there, but so far, as I know at the time, they were definitely complying.
So, I mean, which factory has been sanctioned, if any, for violating this?
I don't have the numbers in my head. I don't have the names in my head because remember, this is under the purview of National Environment Management Agency. Even though we are working very closely, but again, I have to go into their archives or ask or request for the data to be able to get it firsthand, which I did not.
Okay. And the issue of, I mean, the killing of the hippo in CRR was also another topical issue in this country.
What happened to that?
Was the killing in the first place legal?
I have not seen any illegality there.
Really?
No.
So it was legal to kill that hippo?
Which of the hippos? Because several have been killed.
Well, the one that was killed in CRR and transported to Mankomangkunda.
Well, I know they work with our wildlife officers. Okay. Sometimes some of these hippos are threat to our survival and also our habitat. So they would request, they would request that they'll be eliminated, and the process will be taken. So I wouldn't be able to recall what process was taken, but as far as I know, the director was consulted, and the officers on the ground were also consulted. So where it was taken doesn't matter, but so long as I know, I think there was no illegal issue.
But Honorable, someone watching will be saying it really matters because it was taken to a place where even the president came and then saw it.
Yeah, maybe if someone was hunting this hippo to eliminate the hippo, and it coincided with the president being there, and he has never, or he wants to see the live hippo, it's also part of just maybe fun and also a gesture to see the president at least see the live hippo, or at least the physical body of the hippo, not the live one. I don't pay to see the live hippo, but then at least
I'm sorry, if not even the president will
no. You will not even allow that. You will not even allow that.
Okay, and under what law was a live crocodile captured and, of course, donated to the president during the last Meet the People tour?
A live crocodile? I'm just hearing it from you.
Oh, it wasn't live?
I'm just hearing it from you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What was it then? A dead one?
No, I'm just hearing this aspect, this thing from you.
Honorable?
No. Trust me.
A crocodile was donated to the president during the last Meet the People tour around Sandu.
I have no knowledge
to you?
about it. No, yes, it's news to me. Remember, I am just the minister. The director is the one responsible. The director of Parks and Wildlife is the one responsible. Maybe I was not. I was not also. I might have been outside the jurisdiction.
But if that's the case, if that's the case, do you think it's legal?
I said I don't know whether it was illegal. It was legal, but I want to believe the president is somebody who is very conscious about law. That one I can say it loud and clear. And I know whatever he is into, unless he is misguided, he makes sure that the law has been followed in due process. He doesn't compromise that.
Even the
if you want him to leave anything,
it was taken away before he arrived at the meeting.
If you want him, to leave anything, tell him that this is against the law. He will immediately say he is not going to be in. He doesn't play with laws and financial defaults. He's a man that is very conscious about these two things. That one I know. So I know if he knows that it is illegal, he will not be part of it.
Yeah, well, when you believe there's life after presidency, I mean, you really have to
be very careful. And then he's very careful. Yeah. We pray that God continues to guide him.
Interesting. There was a particular issue for you, Honorable Minister, when there was this appointment of a soldier. I mean, that many say, I mean, he has no environmental background to effectively lead the forestry department and perhaps even represent the country at the UN or UN Convention on, combating desertification. How do you respond to this?
In my conscience, I think it's the right decision to make. As the head of the institution, he's not the only one there. I'm the minister. I'm not climate change. I'm not a climate change expert, but I'm representing the Gambia at the helm. And also I have experts to support me. So do you always have to be a doctorate in a field before you head it? Yes, it's important. I'm not denying that. But for me, I think I have no regret in appointing the director. And I thank the entire cabinet for their support.
So what actually informed his appointment? What did you look at and said, yes, he's the right person for this position?
To get things right. it came at a time that the forest was completely out of space, out of order with respect to enforcement. And even I would tell you, since I assumed ministerial position, I have never received any complaint from the forestry department with respect to illegalities within the forest zone. Can you imagine? Not a single complaint.
Why? And you think that is normal?
That is what I think. It was not normal. It was not normal. It is for me, maybe for Aliu to pass and see a truck and call me. Minister, there's a truck, then I would now, it was like a firefight. I will now send to the PS.
When you travel on the South Bank Road,
yes,
you see
the
trucks
PS will send me.
Yes.
And as I said, we have officers there, we have a head, we have. So I'm not saying nothing was done. To be honest, there are quite a number of them who have been very, very efficient and helpful with honesty. But it needs collective efforts.
So is it also true that there are directors under your ministry who are actually holding multiple roles, like being a director and also managing a project? Is that normal?
So long as the law allows it, whatever we do is within the limits of the law.
Why not you give it to experts in that particular area to manage those projects?
Sometimes it's also to save costs and also for continuity.
Interesting. That's
yes.
interesting.
Sometimes it's to save costs and continuity. We have projects, if you think that the project fund is not much, it's not a very long project, very short term in nature and in the execution of the assignment, why don't you limit it to those that are already on the ground, whether the director or an officer? So long as the law allows it, I think I'll prefer for continuity. We've seen project failed here because of the project is owned by a head, Rohila Projeko. When Rohi goes, the project also dies out. So and then now you want to transfer that project to the department or to the heads that are there, when it has been under a jurisdiction of one person.
I've heard of that in the Ministry of Agriculture, Karela Projeko.
That's it. So if you have, for me, I advocate to have our officers who are stationed there, who are paid little, and at the end they bear the brunt in terms of monitoring and evaluating and keeping checks and balance for these projects to execute it, and they receive allowances if the laws allows it. But some of the donor partners or the projects don't allow it. So if they don't allow it, you don't have to do it. Like UNEP, they don't allow officers, government officers to be paid. But if the project allows it, you give them remuneration. It's just it's a top-up, not even a pay, you call it.
So what's your vision for the ministry in the next 2 or 3 years?
It's quite a lot. We have a big heart with my team. It's to make sure that we're able to advance this country when it's come to our targets with respect to our NDC, but also to achieve a green Gambia, and also to be able to change attitudes towards climate friendly, but to also have a very clean and decent Gambia.
I'm talking about the NDC. I think you were aiming for 49.7% emissions reduction by 2030.
That's the NDC too.
Yeah, okay.
And with this, you'll bear with me that only 2.7% is unconditional.
Okay.
So meaning the 5.4% is all based on finance. If we don't have finance, we cannot implement it. But the country, under this leadership, we are doing a lot. And I thank our donor partners. The World Bank is advancing real support to support our climate actions. FAO, the UNEP, the entire donor partners, they're doing, and even the French Development Bank, the French Development Bank, we have Gambia Resilient Project that is almost 6+ million euros to restore 100,000 hectares of degraded forests, and sustainably for that matter. So all these things are support that we get from our partners.
What about the Waka project? Where are we now?
We are advancing slowly but surely. Usually when you start, you have some itches on the ground to settle down with the team and also get the consultants on board. So that's what we are doing. You've seen us launch the livelihood project. That's going to cater for about 4,000 individuals, and it's about $5 million. And before March ends, we'll be able to now finalize with the contractor on maybe by the end of, before 6 months to come, we should be able to now agree on the final version of the technical work. That is to say, the specs. of what
Honorable,
we want to do.
we're running out of time. The time is up. But I mean, finally, I mean, what legacy would you love to leave behind at the ministry?
Even if I should leave now, I thank Allah. To build a nation is very, very difficult. I definitely sympathize with His Excellency. With all that he has achieved under 10 years, he is highly ambitious. And having him as a leader, I think I'm contented to show him as my model. So it is together. The Ministry of Environment is not only us. I said, agriculture is executing our long-term strategy. Ministry of Works, they're executing part of our long-term strategy. All the ministries, even the media houses, you have to be environmentally responsive. And if you look at the number of roads that this government has built, it has far double the two governments put together. That is talking about climate responsiveness. Because the more efficient road you have, the cars will be durable, the less fuel you will consume. You remember when you want to trek from Banjul to Costa Road at the time using this Senegambia road? It takes you about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Now it's just 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you are there. So you are now consuming less fuel. All these things people don't understand are all positive action towards climate. And this is what this government is doing. Education. We're building at least efficient infrastructures that are able to withstand climate change, floods. We've seen instances whereby when rain comes, some schools are closed because of the schools, the entire classrooms are inundated. But now we're having high-rise buildings with classrooms. Yeah,
at least for a fact, last rainy season we didn't witness so many major
because of the intervention of the worker. We had at least a short-time intervention to mitigate the rainy season consequences, and then it had worked since 2024, 2025. We thank God for that.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, Honorable Rohigon Manjang. Once again, congratulations on your appointment as co-facilitator for the adaptation negotiation at COP30. It's a big achievement for not just for you, but even the country. Thank you so much for coming. And this is what we expect. I mean, when we invite, ministers and people holding public offices to come, let's have this honest conversation because it's important. I mean, this is all what we want. At least when you're serving, it's good to come and have such a conversation with the public. At least they get to hear from your own side as to some of the issues that are happening under your ministry. But once you stay back, then you allow other people to control the narrative, and it doesn't help actually. Well, viewers, with that we bring an end to this week's edition of your weekly State of Affairs program. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.